Books make me smarter. They help me out with a lot of things, like biography books.
I like to read about history, like Black history. One of my favorite slaves is Sojourner Truth. I always read about her.
I wanted to see about the book of tsunamis next. You can learn about a lot of things, like how to read, get more fluency.
It's important to read because you get smarter every time you read a lot. If you don't know the word, you can look at the pictures.
I love to read because books are one of the best things I ever saw.
A little less than a year ago, the SAF issued a challenge to our community. We told the community about the conditions of the libraries in the Grand Rapids Public Schools and challenged them to help the district through the Student Advancement Foundation, and the response to date has been simply overwhelming. Tonight is the first opening in a series of libraries, and it's a touching evening for us.
It has meant so much to me and the board to put books in these libraries for these students. I remember one day at one of the library openings that the children were so excited to see all these new books. Even though the parents had brought food, which was meant for them to eat after the opening, the children would rather read the books.
When I look around and I look at all the books, we have over 3,800 brand new books in this media center. And when I think about what children now have available to them and compare that to what we had in the past and consider our focus on literacy for the district, it's astounding because many of our students can go places just from reading books.
Well, some of them are about mythology, I can't say that right, mathematics, technology. Sometimes in school we get books, we get 3 books, they're called self-selected.
I think it's really cool about all the books that we get that we've never had before.
With the old library, the children were allowed to check out one book, and it was sort of the first in were able to have the best books.
Some of those shelves were basically empty because the books that had been there were really culturally insensitive, in bad shape, were an embarrassment.
When the library was dedicated and reopened, the staff as well as the students had a great appreciation for what they do have now compared to what they did have previously.
I see so much usage now. I mean, it was an effort to really encourage them to take books out. I don't think the teachers were even as excited until we got this new collection.
The first day that we opened up our new library with all our new books, we had one of our 5th graders come down, and he was just running around and jumping around saying, "This is the best library I ever saw in the whole world."
I mean, they come in here now and I'm thinking, oh, look at the traffic, look at the traffic. And they are just all over the place. And they're asking me questions. "Miss Lewis, do you know whether or not we have this? Do you know whether or not we have that?" Instead of just taking something off the shelf.
And they would see all our new titles and they would say, "Oh, you have Franklin books now," or "Oh, you have Magic Treehouse books now." And so they were so excited to get all these new books that they could read.
The students love to come to the library, and this is what's so really neat about all of this, is that we have many books that represent their culture. And so when kids come in here, they're grabbing new books. They're asking our media specialists, "Do you have this particular book?" Or they're looking for a biography or an autobiography, or they're looking for something on different countries.
And these kids can't wait to get here. They stopped me on the playground. "Miss Lewis, we have library today?" Well, I don't have my schedule with me, but they're really excited and they love it.
My first book I loved so much that I didn't want to give it back to the library. It was so neat.
I like to read because it's fun and it's funny books and it's all kinds of books, like autobiography and biography.
I like coming to the library because there's so much books to read. But it's kind of hard to choose. In some sections you have a kids section, you have the advanced readers, the beginners readers, the more extreme readers. You have books about history, science fiction, and fiction. And you get to choose any style of book that you want.
When our students first come to East Leonard School as kindergartners, they don't have a lot of experience with books.
A lot of the kids, they have some tough home lives, and many of our kids live below the poverty line. There's a lot of things they have to overcome in order to be successful in school.
So many of our students, because of their economic backgrounds and lifestyles, don't have the opportunity to have many reading materials in their homes. And I think it's key that schools have these materials available to students.
Many of our students have had little or absolutely no exposure to books, as far as books being their friends and books being fun and books giving them information.
It's one of the true basics that our children need. If they don't have a solid foundation in reading, then it's kind of hard for them to try to build on top of that.
If children cannot read, then really there's very little they can do. They're not going to be successful in math or science or anything.
It's important to read because if you don't know how to read, you can't read anything, and you'll never know how to read the rest of your life when you're a grown-up.
Our students in the city of Grand Rapids are remarkable. And in order for them to be even more remarkable, they need to have the resources to be able to have greater achievement in their scores and their discovery for life. And the best way you can do it is by handing a child a book.
You have to have something to work with besides just numbers and letters and paper and pen. You know, you need materials that will show you the world, and that's what a library represents.
Having all these books here available to them opens up whole new worlds for them. And hopefully that will continue to grow as they go through our school from kindergarten through 5th grade.
I think that the people from kindergarten are gonna like it as soon as they come on.
I got a book that splits off the letters so I can sound them out, like and there's little dashes right there, so there's one vowel in the middle and 2 non-vowels on the other sides.
My sister likes to read too. She's only 5 years old. I'm teaching her how to read though. She likes to copy things that I do. So like when I pick up a book, she reads a book and she likes doing that.
I read to my sister because I can't resist her. It's just that she'd come up to me and tell me, say, Xavier, read me this book. I'd be like, then I try to walk away, then she'd make that little face like this. Then I had to read to her.
I like when my brother reads to me because he uses all different kind of silly, different kind of funny voices.
If you look at the urban school system, like we have, no single entity can do this by themselves. So you have the Student Advancement Foundation, you have neighborhood associations, you have pastoral associations. All of us have to work together to make a real difference for children.
There's absolutely no way we would have gotten a new book, one new book, let alone the many books that we did receive, if it hadn't been for the Slemons Foundation donating all of our library books.
We have had wonderful success, and the momentum is still there in linking donors with the needs of our schools, but the need is still there also. Actually, some of our neediest libraries are still available.
All the schools that have been funded already are held in high esteem, and the other buildings that are waiting to be funded look at us longingly, hoping that someone will choose them too.
I think it's important that we finish this job. We've gotten off to a great start. We are more than halfway there, but the job does need to be finished so all the students have the same opportunities.
I know that the goal ultimately will be reached, and that every child who attends the Grand Rapids Public Schools will have access to the same type of information that our suburban partners, and we look to a really bright future.
We talk about No Child Left Behind, and I think the very first thing is the library. What are they reading? What are they exposed to? So as a person, as a principal in Grand Rapids Public Schools, I feel very, very fortunate and very humbly honored to have a library that's full so our students can succeed.
To be able to go back to that school and meet with the principal and the librarian and tell them that good news, that they have a donor that's going to make their library just top, bar none. That's hard to imagine anything better.
Books have a good ending, and it just wraps right up.
And it tells me about things that I never knew before.
Our math books, our Franklin books, our real books, just every book.
And that's why people bring books here, because we like to read.